Welcome.
You are watching Line Screw 1.
Well, hello tubers, hope you're doing well wherever you are in this crazy YouTube universe. Today I'm coming to you from beautiful Whatcom Lake here in Whatcom County in Bellingham, Washington. Yes, I am in America again. I like to be in America. Everything's free in America. I came here to get my SNAP benefits. Just kidding. But it is a beautiful day here on Lake Whatcom. Everybody's out on their devices. People picnicking, the barbecues are going. And yeah, I figured today's topic would be the end of RVing and what did I learn after 11 years living in my motorhome. I'm still living in it, but my time will come to an end sometime next year, depending on my mood and my motivation. But the thing I kind of want to leave you with to think about is that you got to get something out of it. Just doing it for the sake of doing it, basically you want to use it as a means of, traveling the world, but it's gotten so expensive. And I would say the last 7 years I really haven't used the motorhome like a motorhome. I've used it more as a mini apartment as I travel, because the cost is so expensive for fuel and RV pads. And for example, if I was going to go away for a long weekend, 3 nights, by the time I buy a couple good cuts of meat, pay for the gas for maybe 600-mile round trip somewhere, and camping fees, 3 nights, it would suddenly be so much money that I might as well just get a nice hotel in Seattle. It's that bad. That's really what it's come down to. It's fuel is so high when you're getting 9 miles per gallon. Now, not to say that it isn't worth doing. It's convenient to have your own bed and your own toilet and your own shower and your own stuff. That is very, very convenient. But the way I approached it was that way in the beginning, and then I realized, those times where I want to take a trip to LA, for example, back when I wanted to go to LA, let's say like 10 years ago, $300 flight makes a lot more sense rather than $1,500 worth of fuel. And 4 days driving, 2 down, 2 back, it's just not worth it. And at least it's allowed my RV not to have so many miles on it, so it'll be worth a little bit more when I sell it. But I basically used it as a cheap way of living, and that allowed me to live vastly below my means so that I could go on nice trips to Europe, nice trips to Hawaii. You get the idea. So that's what I approached it as, especially because I lived and continue to live, I guess, in the Vancouver area where it's expensive. In fact, when I started living in the RV, I did it as an experiment, because I was actually living in East Vancouver, where the city of Vancouver would regulate how long you could even park your RV on the street for loading and unloading. So I was going to have to put it into storage. Now it was going to cost a couple $100 a month just for the privilege of storing the damn thing. So I figured, hey, I'll find a place. I had a friend who had a spot with full hookups, and I could come and go, and it was only a couple $100 a month. And in fact, many months I would spend more on electricity, or at least he would get a bigger electricity bill than I would give him for rent. But I'd keep an eye on his equipment and the things he stored there. So it worked out for the beginning, and it was cheap. And that's something I would suggest you do. You got to have a base, and you want to get something out of it. So if you can get it down to probably at my best, where for every $10 you earn, you're only going to spend $1, that extra $9 of your income can be used for a lot of amazing things, for travel and investments. And I know people that have done it, people that have gone and lived in an RV and sacrificed things for a few years, and they managed to put money away. And today they don't live in an RV. Most of them don't even own an RV. But that's just food for thought. You know, you do you. But keep in mind, the world has changed when it comes to the RV lifestyle. Too many people have gotten on social media, and all the good spots have been spoken about and ruined. The RV park rates are skyrocketing. The really coveted spots, maybe in state and provincial parks, they're booked well in advance. So you're not getting in there. It's kind of a shame. But social media did it. So what do you expect? And that's where we're at. But I think it's still a great way of seeing the country. And what I'm actually seeing a few outliers where people are doing things with their RVs. For example, I met a fellow from Glasgow, Scotland, and I know it's a bad Scottish accent, and he lives in Scotland, but he bought a motorhome in Vancouver that he uses seasonally. So he has a place to camp and a place to sleep. So, you know, when the weather is bad in Scotland, he can just come do some winter camping in Vancouver. Or in the summer, he can, everybody's loading their boats. In the summer, he can just jump on a cheap flight and pick up his motorhome, and he can go camping all over the Pacific Northwest. Cheap. And I assume once he's finished with it, he's just gonna sell it. Which kind of, you know, it's an interesting way of doing things. In fact, that's probably something I'd consider if I wanted to, say, camp in Europe. Even though there's a lot of areas of Europe that isn't favorable for camping, but there's still some good spots, I guess, especially Northern Europe. But you don't want to go to Norway or Sweden in the wintertime now, do you? So, but I think if you approach it with getting something out of it, either some really good experiences or you save a lot of money, that's what I think is a sweet spot for living in an RV. And after 11 years, I can say things constantly break. I think I'm on my 4th water heater. So, you know, appliances will break. You're constantly working on the roof to make sure it doesn't leak. You know, you're cleaning things. I mean, if you have a dog or an animal, constant cleaning. I'm on my 2nd toilet. I've replaced thermostats and brake pads and tires. And when you gotta swap your tires out, you're buying 6 of them, right? 6 whole tires. But if you live in a house, or if you own a house, you got to pay to maintain and repair that too, right? There's no free lunch. And if you think you can just park anywhere for free, well, it's gonna suck. Look at the people that do it, that destroy their RV, like Carolyn's RV life. She doesn't have the $10,000 to $20,000 a year for RV rental pad to be hooked up to utilities. So, you know, her hygiene suffers, her mental health suffers, always rationing water, electricity, resources. You're long ways from, you know, friends and decent shopping. It's not for most people. Most people want to live a civilized, quiet life when they get older, right? Without all the nonsense. So I highly recommend you get a home base with hookups and you come and go on your little weekend trips, get the most out of your RV. But like I said, if I would have used my RV for every little trip that I wanted to take, I would have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles on my RV, and it would be worth very little. Let's face it, when you're buying say a 15-year-old RV, wouldn't you rather buy one that has 100,000 miles versus one that's got 300,000? And of course, there's a lot of requisite maintenance that will come mechanically with a lot of extra wear. And 9 miles per gallon, that's expensive. It's very expensive. Keep that in mind. So anyway, I'm back to the motorcycle now, so I'm going to call it a day. So in the meantime, folks, you put your comments down below, and I'll talk to you later. Over and out.